everyone, and welcome back to Morning Cup. I am so honored because I have Iesha Richard with me today, and she is such a powerhouse woman, entrepreneur, mom, and just a light of fresh air. But with that being said, Iesha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Awesome. And so today, I really just wanted to highlight your journey, how you started Psalm's Choice, what that was like for you, because I know a lot of people listening are like, well, somebody's so successful, but how did they get there? So I'd love for you to elaborate on your journey.
Thank you. Like me actually being in business, it's only been 1 year. So when people say like, "Oh, you're doing so well, successful," those type of words, I'm like, I'm really just getting started. But I appreciate the support and how many people have been so positive with Psalm's Choice thus far. But I guess it kind of started like just me knowing I wanted to do something in fashion, just not necessarily how. Growing up, it was always instilled, get your education, definitely get something grounded to where you have stable income, etc. So I went to nursing school and I graduated 2014. And then when I got married, I was talking to my husband. I was just like, this is great. Never thought I was going to be a nurse, but ended up going through that process and I love it. It was like best decision to do career wise. But I was like, but now I want something like more like for me, for my passion. And then I just realized like shoes were like my niche when it came to like getting dressed, where I got like the most compliments, stuff like that. But I kind of procrastinated because it's always a gamble. I didn't really have too many people like around me that were small business owners or in the fashion industry. So after I had my daughter, that just kind of pushed me again because it was just like, okay, now there's a new role that I have in life. So like, what am I going to do for me, that I can enjoy? So I named Psalm's Choice actually after my daughter, Psalm. And with the idea of I can grow it for me and then pass it on to her and she can expand how she wants. So that's been the thought process along with the journey. So we started a year ago. I had like three mentors. Lori has been one of my mentors. She's great.
She was just
The
on the show.
Yeah, I saw. I went through the YouTube videos. I saw she was on there. So she like connected a lot of dots for me as far as starting up the company online. Like all that type of stuff was just foreign to me. So she's definitely been like a great mentor with like learning all the digital stuff. Then I had a mentor, Martha Elmore Barry. She's the owner of iMarie Boutique, and she started like before this became a trend. Cause like now you see so many boutiques and so many this and that, and it's just like that kind of kept me not wanting to do it for a while too, because I feel like I was just hopping on a trend, or like you see them, they're here today, they're gone tomorrow type of thing. And so she helped me like get a mindset of like longevity and like just making sure I really wanted to do this. But so far it's just been like I feel like it's just been a blessing because people are just like gravitating towards it and they're reposting, and social media definitely helps out with just connecting a lot of people to what you're doing. So I don't know. I feel like I don't have it all figured out, but like I feel like I did enough planning to trust, going with the flow. Cause I'm like a middle person. Like I need a plan, but at the same time, I'm gonna go with the flow for some things. Like it can't be everything. So
Yeah, no, that's a really good point too, because I think a lot of people are like all or nothing, like they're really good at planning or they're really good at executing.
yeah,
But being
yeah.
that middle ground, I think does speak volumes too of knowing, okay, well, you can plan for something, but as an entrepreneur, you can plan all you want, but then life
Yeah,
happens and it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It's times where like I've tried something and I'm like, okay, this is definitely gonna get a lot of sales, or this is like the it thing. And then there's days where like I'm like, okay, I just need some content up for today, and I just randomly post something and then it just like takes off. So it's definitely like you have to be okay with, the ups and downs. You can't just let like one day deter you from ever doing it again.
No, you're absolutely right. And you said a lot of amazing things in there and that I wanted to highlight. One that like creating a legacy for your daughter as well. Like I think too it's thinking that longevity piece of what your mentors
Yeah.
were saying too of how do you want to create this? How do you want to sustain this? And that's where I think a lot of people are like, well, how am I going to do that? Or they don't know. And what was it like for you getting mentors, different types of mentors as well? Because I think that's something that's not talked about enough.
Yeah, people always ask me that. And honestly, when I was reaching out, I wasn't even thinking about it as a mentor because, like, with nursing school, everything is mapped out. Like, you get in the program, they've already figured it out. So, I'm just going along with their outline. So, like, when I started or when I decided I want to start my business, like, I kind of was like, okay, I'm used to that structure. So, let me map out A, B, C, D. So I know the steps up to launching and then, moving forward. So I guess like thinking that way, I just moved over. I was like, okay, who's best to help me, do that? So like I contacted a lawyer. I'm like, okay, how do I build this website? How do I get up a personal email? Like all the little technical stuff that I had no idea how to do, a logo, etc. And then Martha, who was already a boutique business owner and like already a 6-figure business, I was just like, let me just connect the dots with her and see if she, even wants to take the time to talk to me. But she was very welcoming. So I think it's just like just going for it, but knowing like when you go to people that are already established and have something, like they want to know that you have some type of direction too, because I'm pretty sure like multiple people are hitting them up often. So it's like when you go to somebody, show them that you at least have an idea of the direction that you want to go so that they can actually answer the questions that need to be answered.
Yes, no, definitely. And I think too, when you're able to know what the vision is, because a lot of
Yeah.
times somebody might say, I have this business idea, but they might not have the vision for it, or like that can get derailed if somebody comes in and changes that, but
Yeah.
having that like grounded idea of this is what I want, this is the direction I want to go, but I don't know how to get from A to Z. What are the
Yeah.
steps?
Yeah. And then always asking those questions like, most people kind of know like a general thing, but like, what were those things that like you learned that no one prepared you for? No, not necessarily saying that you want the shortcut, but it's just like, like I'm serious, like I'm trying to keep myself from making certain mistakes that I wouldn't say shouldn't be made, but that like people often make just because they're unaware of. So I feel like when you go to somebody for mentoring or, opinions, help, etc., like show them that you've already done some type of work so that they know how serious to take you. And it's just a gamble, everybody's not going to want to do it, but
Right.
then there's people that what they do is connected to a purpose. So, they feel more entitled to help and more like it's still connecting with purpose. So I feel like even now I have people come and ask me questions and I'm just like, I'm a beginner too, but I still try to give whatever knowledge I can because I want my business to be attached to purpose. So
No, and that's like purpose is everything. And that's what drives us. That's what motivates us
yeah.
day in, day out. Because if there's no purpose behind your business, if it's just, I want to make a lot of money, how far are you going to really get?
Yeah. And I mean, it's no guarantee that you're going to make money starting off like um with my mentor Martha. She had a what is it, like a mentee workshop. It was like a 2-day event. And so I won a year of free accounting. And
Oh, wow.
so when I got the yearly end number, she was like, well, you did pretty well because you made a profit. She was like, it wasn't, nothing huge. She was like, but most businesses don't make a profit. And so it was like, starting up, you're basically just everything you get, you're reinvesting. So if you're trying to, and I don't know, for some people it does work, but for me, I knew like I wasn't trying to live off of this business immediately. I wasn't trying to move the money into my savings account or take vacations or this and that because I wanted to be consistent, want to build it. So it's just like, so our slogan is say it with shoes, because I want women to be confident. I want women to express themselves. And this is just another avenue of doing it with heels or slippers, sandals, whatever, your choice of shoes are. So I feel like that's like definitely important. Like everything has to have a purpose. Like anybody can sell anything, but what's going to keep them coming back to you? Like, do they identify through you with themselves, with your business?
And I really appreciate the fact about like just empowering women too, because that's what like this channel is all about as well. But just embodying that, because that
Yeah.
shoes can make such a difference. And what is your passion behind shoes, so people can know a little bit more too of like why you chose shoes?
Um, I just feel like, I mean, of course, like the fashion industry is so much, like, I just feel like clothes, they get so much attention, but it's like, well, don't leave out the shoe, because I feel like they can make or break. I don't know. I just love the heels. I love getting dressed up. It's just always been like a part of me. And I would just always find like unique quirky shoes. Like when Bessie Johnson was like really big, I was in high school, and it was just like, I loved her bags. I loved her shoes. And so it just always stuck with me. It was like, if I'm not going to do anything else, I'm going to have a great pair of shoes. And it's like, people don't realize, like, when people look at you, like that whole, you're looking at somebody from head to toe, like,
Yeah.
so don't leave out the last thing that they're going to look at, or maybe the first thing, who knows, but I don't know. I just felt like it was a good niche as well. Because I've been told a lot of times, like, you don't see a lot of like Black owned shoe stores, like you see a lot of clothing boutiques. And now I know handbags are really becoming popular. So I feel like I was in like a small window, like, so let me get in there and then expand from there. Because people are like, well, why don't you do Mommy and Me? And I'm just like, I don't want to just take off with everything and don't really give time to detail for what I'm doing. So it's like, I'm slowly trying to do it versus, just show people everything, or, whatever's popular, trending, and then it falls off.
No, and that's also, I just want to highlight that, because when we look at when people are doing something, if it's out of trend, even just like social media, like trending songs or whatever it is,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
follow the crowd. However, when we're able to carve out that niche for ourselves, it sets us apart. And just like you're setting yourself apart as well, because you're right.
Mhm.
I mean, of course, there's like big shoe brands and like stores and stuff like that. But particularly, what do you think sets you apart from other shoe stores that are other boutiques?
Um, Particular. I guess, like, I don't know. That's a good question. I would say the fact that, like, I really look to see like how people feel when they're in my shoes, so I'm always trying to repost my customers. I'm always like following up with them. I just try to push more towards, like, with my branding and my advertisement, with just like empowering the woman, like, yes, the shoes are cute, but how do you feel in the shoes? So it's not just like you put these shoes on and, they change your life, but kind of like, like you're changing your own life, you're changing things by taking the time to invest in yourself, or, making yourself feel better with these shoes, or, it's just one little thing, part of the whole package. So like, I try to like throw in bits of content that doesn't just focus on fashion, but it focuses on like holistic care, because I'm a nurse, so that
Right.
matters to me. And of
Yeah.
course, it can't be everything on my shoe page, but I definitely try to throw that in there when I can, so that people know, like, I actually care beyond what you buy from me, type of thing.
Absolutely. And that's too going back to like the self confidence and empowering women. Confidence, it all starts from within, and it all starts with how you feel, like your
Mm-hmm.
mindset and your health. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm always a huge advocate for health, and I so appreciate nurses like yourself. But
Thank
being
you.
able to really take care of ourselves, because if we don't have our health, we're not going to feel confident. We're not going to have all the things that we want to do and be able
Yeah.
to do. But like
Yeah.
you embody that. It's not just the shoe. And that's what I wanted to get to, because I think it is
Okay.
really important to recognize that, because I do think it's the brand, who you are, what are you presenting outside of just the product itself or the service that we have. And as a business owner, everybody is unique in their own way. But I'm curious, when it comes to just like the journey that you've taken with designing the shoes, like what is the process? Because I think a lot of people have no idea.
So with my process, I'm not to the level of designing shoes. That's actually the next step that I want to do. I'm making a trip out to LA in May to speak to vendors more personally, so I can discuss like that process.
Yeah.
But I just look for shoes that are like more unique, something that's like eye catching, because I want people to look at my store and be like, I haven't really seen this anywhere, or, like, I wouldn't think of wearing this, but maybe I should give it a try. um And I also like try to do different heel heights because I know every woman isn't comfortable in 6-inch heels. Like I personally barely wear 6-inch heels. And so it's just like I want fun, cute shoes in every height, in every style, every heel, so that of course, I have a targeted audience, but at the same time, I want all women to come and feel welcome to my store. So the process is just like looking at shoes, like I do ask like, okay, are these heels wearable? Like, am I going to go in these shoes and be ready to take them off? Because they can be super cute, but if no one's going to wear them, then you're not getting any advertisement through your customers because they're, thrown away in the closet, or they may want a refund or whatever. So that's like one of the first questions I ask. Then I ask, is it unique enough? Or is it just something that I'm, throwing out there to get trendy sales? So I always go for the unique. And then after that, like right now with buying shoes, I also look at the price, because there is, from what I'm paying to what the customer's paying. So I say, would I pay for this? One thing that I do notice is just like a lot of people want to immediately upcharge everything, which is fine. I know your business has to make money, but then people get stuck with inventory because it's just like, if I can buy something of the same thing here, there, everywhere, why would I overpay for you? So what's the overall experience that your brand is going to give me to make me say, I want to buy this from you? So those are like the few things that I'm learning to think about so that when I do put it out, like, it does well. So that's kind of like my process.
Thank you for sharing that, because I don't think a lot of people know what the process is. But I really appreciate the fact that you said it's about comfort too, because I know I have like so many heels that I've bought where I'm like, oh, these are so cute, but then like my feet hurt, or I get blisters, or like even after wearing it a few times, but because they're not comfortable. But I think when you're able to find that sweet spot of like, okay, it's cute, but you also can wear it and your feet aren't going to be like dying.
Yeah. And I learned that like really fast. Like people will love the shoes and comment all day long, but they're going to prefer to pay for the shoe that they know they can wear comfortably. And that just comes with, like I actually wear heels. So I know when I look at a shoe, depending on, how deep the decline is, going to the toe bed and everything, like, are these going to be comfortable, or is it just a cute shoe, And so I feel like people have to look at their clients too, like who's shopping with you the most? What are they buying the most? Because a lot of times we want to put out stuff because that's what we want. And I learned that from my mentor. And it's just like, okay, now you have consistent clients and customers. So are you going to keep giving people what you want, or are you going to give the people what they want so that they can keep shopping with you? So that's a good balance to find as well.
No, it definitely is a really good balance, because it goes back to like what the customer wants, and like just being able to provide that. It's like anything, finding the problem and giving the solution to it.
Yes.
And that's exactly
That's
what you're
very
doing.
big.
That's very important too.
Yeah.
So with your journey so far, I'm curious, what was like the aha moment to like actually start? I know you kind of talked a little bit about it, but like what was that like deciding factor, like I'm going all in?
I think honestly, like me being in socialty and being like around so many women that are like doing different things, like, like a lot of us are career women, and then we have like the things on the side. So I feel like that was just like okay, like now I have a community who's doing similar things. And like I said, I linked up with the lawyer, so she was able to mentor me in the startup process. And then just saying like, okay, like it's either like you're going to do it now or you're never going to do it, because you're going to continue being a wife, a mother, like all these things are going to keep going. So what else, what are the excuses you're going to give? So I feel like, once I saw like other women managing and juggling different things, I was just like, okay, I can do this. I feel, so that like inspired me a little bit more, gave me a push. And then just seeing like how social media is just like every day it's a new thing. So it's just like, okay, if I don't do it now, I may like not get the confidence to do it because everything's advancing. And I'm just like, hold on, like this is a lot. I don't even want to do this anymore because I'm not into a lot of different tech and savvy like social media stuff. So it's like if this keeps growing, I'm going to be past that window, or my window basically. Mm-hmm. So I feel like those two things.
Yeah, no, those are definitely reasons why. And it's taking that leap of faith, like believing in
Yeah.
yourself that you can do it. The
Yeah.
desire was always there, but like actually doing it. And you got a
Hmm.
great foundation with nursing and you love it and you're all about healthcare. But being able to do something on the side that's a passion that can grow and will
Yeah.
grow because it's something that's needed, and it's being able to understand too what your customers want, but it's also fulfilling for you, I'm sure. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
No, yeah. And I feel like one thing is like I was real with myself about, are you ready for this responsibility? Because that was another thing. Like with all the other roles I have, did I really want to add a full-time responsibility? Because even though it's something you're doing on the side, the background work will still seem like a full-time job at times. So it was just like me being honest with myself, are you at a point where you can give this business the time that it deserves? Because if not, how are you going to keep it, long term wise? So that was another thing. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to commit to it and I'm going to move forward. So I feel like a lot of people have to think about that. Like, yes, it's a passion. And yes, you can make money from it, but are you ready for the responsibility? Like, are you ready for people to be emailing you and, all, because as a nurse, like, it's a lot of, customer care, customer service along with the medical side of it. So it's like, do I want another customer service responsibility? So I had to be honest with myself. And I felt like at that point I was there. And I'm the type of person, once I get, on the roller coaster, I'm good. But getting up to the, having the balls to do it type of thing, it's just like, okay, now I can, I'm good. Let's go.
No, absolutely. It's interesting when you were saying that, like my next question popped in my head because it is a lot of responsibility. And I'm glad you touched on that because you are a mother as well. And you do
Mm-hmm.
have a full time job and you are married. You have a family, friends, people that you love and care about. How do
Yeah.
you integrate work and life? And now with the business too, because it's been a year, but like, how have you been able to manage all of that?
I feel like community is everything. Like my mom, she helps with what she can, especially with my daughter. Like she'll babysit for her because my husband, he's a full-time entrepreneur as well. He's an artist, so he paints and he does music. And it's just like we have to, it's a lot of planning. Like I tell people, like if you don't plan, like what is it? Plan if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like, it's a lot of planning. Like my week is already preset, like I knew today, 1 p.m., this is where I need to be. So I'm like communicating with my husband, like, hey, keep the daughter upstairs for as long as you can because this is a window. I'm going to be in an interview. So I feel like planning, good communication skills with the people around you and community are like the biggest three things that you need to be successful because you can't do it alone. Like I can't handle all of these roles alone. And thankfully with my nursing career, I'm able to plan my schedule myself. So I know the days I'm going to go to work and I can, stick with the consistent weekly schedule there so that the rest of the week is set for some choice of family or whatever else I have going on. But it's like if you have people around you that don't understand or aren't trying to understand like your process and your responsibilities, then it makes it hard. So I'm blessed to have that like communication and everything going on with my family. So we work together.
I really admire that because I do think a lot of people might not have that, but being able to
Mm-hmm.
understand too, like you said it so beautifully, but communication is like the foundation of everything because people
Yeah.
might assume things or judge things or not really know what's happening if it's not being
Mm-hmm.
communicated. But you're right, it's all about planning because, like, yeah, things are going to come up and like life happens, but at least if you have that consistency, just like a
Yeah.
lot of people who like maybe leave their 9 to 5 and then they're like, oh, wait, I have all this time, but like scheduling things out is really going to be
Yeah.
beneficial. But I'm
Yeah.
sure it's great that you get to work at night. So then during the day and everything else, you can switch things around
Yeah.
when you need to and also be present for your daughter.
Yeah, and I feel like you have to have like a personality that's like you're adjustable, like one little thing doesn't knock you off your horse completely, because like you said, life happens. I have a 5-year-old, like she woke up not feeling well today. So, like you never know. So if you're somebody that you don't adapt pretty well, that's just like one extra thing that you have to overcome to, find the success in doing all these different things.
Well said. I mean, I used to be that rigid person. I was like, I need everything like perfectly. But you learn as you go. And I'm sure,
Yeah.
especially with nursing too, I'm sure that prepared you so well
Yeah.
as well. Like, how has
Yeah.
that
No
played a
night is
role?
the same. What'd you say?
How has that played a role, like with being an entrepreneur now as well, like in addition to?
Uh, well, like I said, more than anything, just being adaptable is definitely like got like no night is the same. So I already come in like trying to foresee like, anything that may happen or what I may need to be doing to prepare for the night at work. So like I try to take the same mindset with my business. Customer service, like learning how to resolve an issue, how not to make it worse, like just certain words to use, which it sounds so foreign saying customer service and healthcare together, but trust me, it's like definitely a big thing. And just, I don't know, I guess like just the work-life balance as well, like already, because working nights is like my first day off, I'm tired. I've done 3 nights, like my body is readjusting. Now I gotta be off for 4 days and go back to being a day person, so all of that. But it's been okay. Like I don't regret, stepping out and doing it. It's like I said, people are gravitating towards Song's Choice and it's going well. So like we just reached 1.5 thousand followers. And then like I put like, to some people it doesn't mean much. Thank you. But that's like over 300 plus orders within the last year. We have like over 50 returning customers. Our like email subscriptions are up. And then, just all the other statistics that I was able to say. And it was like when you itemize it like that, you're like, dang, like, I really did a good bit of, to me, like successful things for 1 year of business. So I just feel like once you make up your mind, this is what you want to do, you just got to be ready for whatever comes, and roll with the punches.
That is true. That's how you make it happen.
Yeah.
And with that being said, when it comes to like, if you look back from like now to a year ago, and is there anything you would have done differently or wish you would have known when you had started?
Um, Anything differently? I would say, I'm trying to see. There's always something differently. But the biggest thing, so like, and it was kind of like I guess like an inconvenient, well, it was just bad timing. So I launched in 2021. But then like everything with COVID was still going on. So like ordering some of my stuff that was coming out of the country or coming into the country, it was just like the shipping. So I tried pre-orders just to see like how much I could sell. And it was like delayed shipping and this and that. And I didn't feel like, I never had a customer complain. They were like, I really love the shoes. I don't want a refund. I'll wait, whatever. Cause like that was to me like solving the problem. Like, sorry, it's taking so long. If you feel you want a full refund, that's fine. No one ever wanted a refund when they got the shoes. They loved it. But as a business owner, I stopped doing the pre-sales because I didn't feel comfortable. Like I haven't examined the shoes. Once they do get here, the customers may have to wait longer. It wasn't a good flow for me. I know a lot of people do drop shipping and a lot of people do pre-sales, but it's just like, maybe it's the control factor in my head, but it's just like, I want to know what I'm shipping out. Like I ship out everything by hand myself. So I've seen the shoes, I've examined the shoes, I've packaged them, as I feel they should be. So if anything comes back wrong, like you can blame me, and I can't blame this person and a vendor and this and that. So to me, I feel like that was the biggest thing I learned for my company. That's what I'm comfortable with. Some people are comfortable with it, but for me, it's just like I'm a small brand. So I want everything to be as positive as possible. So this is the best way to control that part of it.
Yeah. No, and too, when you like go back to like the control factor, but also just the accountability, like taking ownership
Yeah.
of your
Hmm.
business and making sure it flows the way you want it to, because
Yeah.
that's the beauty of being an owner of a business. You get to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
decisions,
Yeah.
and it,
So
it
I
makes
think
happier
that would be,
customers.
yeah, and that was the main thing. I mean, pricing, I learned once I did the mentorship program that I was in. I learned a little better with pricing. But I don't regret, it's what you have to learn along the way. But I feel like that was the biggest thing, like the pre-sale and pre-order. I'm not doing that unless I get with a vendor that I'm like, I know 100% everything you give me is top quality, et cetera, et cetera, timing. But for now, no, we won't be doing that.
Well, I think it was a really good lesson to learn, but at the same
Yeah.
time, that's the beautiful thing too when you're starting in this journey and as you grow, like you just learn so much. And that's why I think too, it's like I love this series of really being able to listen to empowering women of
Mhm.
their journey, because everyone's journey is so different, but it's like the
Mhm.
lessons that you learn is so unique to you
Yeah.
and to your business. And I just love highlighting it because it shows we're all human, but we all can grow
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I feel like there's always a background story to everything. Like
Yeah.
people, they see the social media, but it's just like behind the scenes, we're doing everything to make that look good. So it's definitely great to see. And I feel like women are like really pushing through and, showing like we're not like just, one way. I feel like it's been going on for years, but social media, has, I'm not gonna say years. I feel like the essence of women has always been like, we are the helpmates, but we're also like so much more. It's like we can juggle so much more, and the value that we bring to our partners or to our family, to whomever in life, like it's really big. But I feel like social media has been able to push that to the forefront, and now like we can put ourselves in certain places, that people try to do like the glass ceilings and everything like that. So
We're breaking it.
yeah.
One by one. Well, masses,
Yeah,
I would say.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, Iesha, I've been having so much fun with you,
Thank
and
you.
getting all these questions answered for everyone to really understand your journey. But I want people to get to know you even more with my
Okay.
rapid fire questions if you are
Okay.
ready for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the first question is, who is your hero?
I feel like I would say, which it sounds like cliche, but I would probably say my mom. And she
It's
would
not
probably be like,
cliche.
what? But I would say her, because I feel like everything I've learned from her, like I've learned like what I want to be and what I don't want to be, not like in a negative way, but just seeing certain things. So it's just like even like the similarities that we have and then the differences that we have, it's helped me, determine like how I want to move about in life. So I feel like that's like a great thing, that's not like anything bad. It's just like she's always there, she's always supportive, she's like the best grandmother. So I feel like, yeah, she's like my go-to person outside of my husband, of course. Yeah.
No, and I think it's totally not cliche. A lot of people have said moms, and because it's just like you are such an empowered woman because of your mom, like because of
Mm-hmm.
the experiences you've had. So I think it's so beautiful. I mean, I love my mom too. It's
Yeah.
great. Moving on, what motivates you to work hard, to work smarter? What's that drive behind it?
Well, I would say my daughter for one, but for two, just I feel like being able to, help create the lifestyle that I want. Like I never was into like asking people for stuff if I haven't already done like my legwork. So it's just like if anyone's giving a helping hand, it's to add to what I've already done for myself. So I'm not like real big into saying like self-made or anything like that. I definitely feel like everything we have comes from God. But like I like knowing that, the things that I have and I enjoy, like I've helped myself get there, the days that I don't want to get out of bed and this and that, like, so when I do take the time to enjoy myself, like I've accomplished this, I've worked for this, I feel like that whole, I can't think of the word for it, but just being like self-sufficient and being able to enjoy like, the fruit of your labor type of thing. So
Yes, no, definitely. And I think too, it's just going back to like when we are having those helping hands, it's we're doing the legwork, but they're adding that value to it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And I agree. Like, I mean, a lot of people, they're self-made people, but it's also like who's helped them along the way too,
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
never do it
You
alone.
need
It
those
takes
connections. Yeah,
exactly. It takes a village.
it does.
So if you were a superhero, what power or powers would you have?
I read over that and I don't know. I was like, maybe this is just like my type A personality. I'm like, superpowers. I don't know. Like I couldn't like nothing silly came up. I would like honestly, and this is probably more so like the mom in me. I was like, if I had a superpower, it'd probably be like no one could be like violent. And that sounds like so random, but it was just like that would be my superpower. Just stop because it's just so much. And I'm like, we have one daughter, and so I'm like, okay, if we have another one, you just see and hear too much. I'm like, it's the control freak in me, but I'm like as a superhero, all the other stuff is good, but that'd probably be like the one thing, like I could just stop violence. Like we could agree to disagree, go on about your business or, that type of thing. No violence. Like I'm over it.
I'm with you on that one. I think the world needs that. A little more
Yeah.
peace. A lot more peace. A lot more peace.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's an amazing power to have. And hopefully we can get that very soon.
I know, right? I'm like, I don't know how realistic that is, but I wish.
Well, I hope that wish comes true very soon.
Yes.
So if you were to share a meal with any four individuals, living or dead, who would they be?
So dead would be my great grandmother, Lavera Brent. She passed away, but she was like the first police officer, female police officer
Oh, wow.
in our small town, Franklin, Louisiana. And so like I feel like her energy is already, like passed into me. Like so she's somebody that like growing up, I never realized how much I was taking in, but now as an adult, a woman, a mother, and everything, like I see a lot of the traits that she's given me. So that's like family wise. Business wise, I would say trying to see like which female like business person. There's a lady that I follow, Nicole. I can't remember her last name, but she was like one of the first people that I remember following, like before Instagram and everything is what it is today. And she started her fashion line, and now she has like Bloomingdale partnerships and Nordstrom partnerships, and she's did like New York Fashion Week. So definitely sitting at the table with her and getting some mentoring from her. Who else? That's what two more people. I would say, I don't know. I would say, I'm trying to see who else. I don't know. I'm not really like celebrity fascinated, like
Yeah.
I gotta meet. So it's like, I don't,
Could be anybody.
yeah, anybody. I'll probably have my husband there for sure, just because like he's an entrepreneur too. So we're always trying to push each other businesses. And then the other person would be whoever his dream person is. So it's like, well, I'm taking care of business, you take care of business as well. So I go there. That's what I say.
I think that's a great table to be at. Definitely a
Yeah.
lot of learning and empowerment from your great grandma as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful. Well, that sounds like a fun meal. Very informative. It would be. So what is the most daring thing you've ever done?
Oh Lord. Now, college, I'll probably say there's plenty of things I did unintentionally.
I hear
Um,
you.
yeah, but we won't talk about that. So I would think I'm not, see, my type A personality just shows through. I'm not that daring, but when we went to Mexico, I think we went to Cancun. We did the zip lining, and I was like shaking at the point of not wanting to go. But it's like the minute I went and did the first one, it was like, oh, okay, this is nothing. But the thing was, each one got higher. You have to go all the way up, and then you started coming back down. So it was like only, and like I remember them saying like, okay, this is the last one you can do before there's like no turning back type of thing. Yeah, like you have to zip line the rest of the way down if you're going to go beyond this point. So I did that. And like, when I like, yeah, that was probably the most scared I've ever been. Like no roller coaster or anything, but that zip line, because it's just, it's a drop if somebody drops. So
I mean, that seems very risk taking.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, I'm
So
glad you
that's it.
survived.
Yes, yes. I think my mom turned around. We had like maybe two other people turn around, but I was like, no, I'm gonna do this, and I did. We got through it.
See, it's like entrepreneurship. You never know what's going to happen, but you just got to
Yeah,
put yourself out there.
yeah, yeah. You just gotta trust.
Definitely. What is the phone app that you use the most?
Instagram, unfortunately. It's like, and that was another thing about starting the business. I knew I would have like, I think I talked to you about like, okay, now it's time to start a TikTok and everything like that, and keeping up with all of that. But you know, it does its job, so I'm thankful for it. Yeah, but
Of course.
Instagram is dinging all day. Yeah.
Well, it's good to have it dinging because that means orders
Yeah,
are coming
yeah,
through, questions,
exactly.
business.
Repost, all the good stuff.
It is. It's very good. So what is the last book that you've read?
I haven't finished it, but I started reading the Will book, Will Smith's book.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I started reading it before the whole Grammy thing, but it was like when I connected the two, I'm like, okay, now I feel like his therapist, because he talks about feeling like he didn't protect his mom. And like now he overcompensates with that by trying to protect all the women in his life, which that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, that's the book I'm currently reading right now.
And what's it called again? I've heard of it, but I totally forgot the name.
I want to say it's just self-titled Will.
Okay.
I want to say that, yeah.
Nice. Well, if anyone else has read that, comment below. Let us know.
Yeah, but it's good. It's a good read.
I believe it. I'll add it to my list. My list keeps growing. So if you were to have a movie about your life thus far, who would play you?
Okay, I thought about that.
Yeah.
And I said, out of everybody I could think of, I feel like Raven Simone.
Ah,
I feel like, well, first I thought about like who looked similar. So I was like, okay, I could see that. But I feel like there's like definitely silly sides of me that I don't show. So I feel like she could definitely portray that pretty well. But I feel like she's had, you know, her range of things. So I feel like she could do that. I'm not super emotional a lot of the time, so I feel like she could do that. I don't feel like she has to get an Oscar for like a crime scene or anything like that, so I feel like she can make that happen.
well, there you go.
Yeah,
Maybe a good movie.
yeah, yeah.
So what is your favorite family recipe, if you have one that you guys make together or traditional or anything?
Okay, so I'm not the cook in the family. My husband is the cook. So there's no recipe from me that people are like running to eat. Um, but let's see. My husband, like, we're from Louisiana, so he'll make meat and beans like every meal. Like, so I would say, like, for us, like, people love his gumbo. Like, the first time he made it, they were saying that's like the best pot they've ever had. So his gumbo's become like something that people look forward to eating. And then his red beans and rice.
Mm.
So those are like the top two within our family house that like people come over to get a bite of.
I'm sure they're like knocking
Yeah.
down the door. They're like, "We're here."
Yeah.
Ready
Yeah,
for
he's
the
like one of those people. He'll just try stuff when it comes to cooking and it works. Or he'll call his aunt in Louisiana and she'll talk him through it. And I'm just like, see, that's the balance, because um I'll do like vegetables, like something I can bake in the oven, and you know, but he'll stand over the stove. So I'm like, that's good for you. We got that balance.
I was gonna say it's a perfect balance.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So if you had to describe yourself as an animal, like personality wise, what animal would it be?
My husband always says I remind him of a cat. He was like, you do your own thing, like you come around when you're ready. Like he's like, like dogs are just always up on you. He's like, you're like a cat, like he kind of lounge around, I was like, okay, that's fine, I'll go with that.
That's funny. Somebody else said cat too. I think too, it's like every animal has its own personality, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it. When he said, I was like, okay, I can't argue with that.
At least you're on the same page, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And what is one thing, like if you're having just a terrible day that instantly makes your day better, what is it?
Definitely sunshine. I feel like it just naturally, brightens us up. But then music. I love music. I love live music if I can get it any type of way. So those are like the two things that just helps me out. I study the music. I do cleaning and music. My mom she was like, how do you study with music on? I was like, I don't know, but it works. I'm able to zone out. So music and sunlight. Like we bought a house last year, and so it has like a lot of windows, and I love it because the sunlight can come in. Like rainy days are not it's my husband's favorite, which is total opposite, but it's not mine. So sunny days, I'm like opening up all the windows, getting my day started.
I can definitely relate to the rain coming from Florida. Like, I not like the rain, but sunshine, it's so good for you too.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know, especially as a nurse, like how that can affect our health as well,
Yeah.
internally, of being able to have that.
Yep.
Two amazing things to make your day better. And so, what is your favorite way to spend a day off? So, if you don't have to go to nursing and maybe you don't need to do anything for your business that day, or you have a break, what do you do?
I'm just like, which is weird. Like when I'm not handling business, like I am a social person, so just getting out and doing anything. Houston is so much to do. So on like a good sunny day, maybe the wind is blowing, whether we take my daughter to the park or take a walk or just anything outside. Like I'm not like a what's the word? I'm not like an athletic type of person. But just getting out, even if it's like we go out to eat, but we sit outside on the patio type of thing. So just anything out the house. Like I'm an in the house person when I have work to do, but when I don't, I like to be out and about. So like COVID was a whole big adjustment on all of that, because it was just like I like to be out. Like so, and that's when I actually picked up like going to the park and like more natural things during COVID. So yeah, a perfect day is just being out, out and about.
That does sound like a perfect day. Just being able to get that, like not being home, especially I'm sure COVID and like especially being in the like because you work at a hospital, correct?
Yeah.
So like being inside there too, it's like just having that natural sunlight in the house, but then
Yeah.
also getting out of the house.
Yeah. Just not in like the four walls type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We need that. We need that openness, I think.
Yeah. My brother lives in San Marco, which is by like Austin. So there is just so much to do, like floating the river and, like the whole aesthetic down there is just like, more nature. So we're going to start going that way more now.
Good. Well,
yeah. He's like always outside.
Well, it'll be a good balance for you then.
Yeah.
As well. And my final question for the rapid fire questions is, what is something an outsider wouldn't know about your industry when it comes to boutiques, shoes, everything that you're doing, and fashion?
I think people wouldn't know. Like, okay, like you asked me, do I make my own shoes? I don't think a lot of people realize that, like, people don't always just start off like, just because you own a business doesn't mean like you made the shoes or like you have a manufacturer for the shoes. So there's a lot of options that you can do. Like there's shoe store like owners, vendors that make shoes, and then like they just switch out labels or whatever it goes. So it's like it's a wide range to having some short shoes. Like it could be a shoe that I made, or it could just be a vendor shoe that I ordered. So but at the end of the day, it'll be unique, it'll be as comfortable as I assume that it could be. And once again, you'll be able to say it with shoes. So
I love it. It's just all encompassing. So Aisha, I've had so much fun with you today, and I'm so honored
Thank
that you
you.
had the time to come today. But before I let you go, please let everyone know where they can buy these beautiful shoes and where they can find you.
Yes. So we have our online store is psalmschoice.com, PSALMSCHOICE.com. And then Instagram is the exact same thing, Psalms Choice. If you're a Facebook user, we're on Facebook as well, but we're basically just transferring everything from Instagram to Facebook. So if you DM us or anything like that, don't hurt us if you don't respond right away. But yes, that's the main three platforms that I'm using right now. But our personal website is the best thing to do to shop on. And right now we have a mystery box sale going on. So if you're somebody that want to get out of your comfort zone, or you just like, the thrill of something new, we have 3 pair of shoes for $75, or you can get 2 pairs for $55, and it'll all be a surprise once you get it to your house.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that. Well, I'll definitely link everything below so everyone can just click right away and connect with you.
Thank you.
But again, thank you so much for joining us today and just sharing your story, because I think it needed to be heard, and I'm glad you took the opportunity to do it.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. And as always, I just love you, love your personality, love what you do. Thank you for setting up this platform for us.
Absolutely. And you guys can make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. What was the biggest takeaway? What did you learn about the shoe industry, the fashion industry? And let us know below so Aisha can see that. And thank you again for being here. Make sure to follow us for the next video.